Welcome to the Conscious Living Podcast, conversations to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. An uplifting and inspiring series of conversations and talks with your host, Jackie Woodside. We are educating minds, empowering lives, and enlightening souls to create a world where love prevails. In this engaging podcast, we deliver exciting, positive, transformative talks and teachings designed to elevate your life. Now, let's join our host, Jackie Woodside, for this week's session.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us for another episode of the Conscious Living Podcast, where we are here to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. And oh my goodness, are you going to be educated, enlightened, and empowered today? I have with me, I think, probably the most fascinating podcast guest I've ever had. His name is Tom Paladino, and he is the founder of a company called Scalar Light, which Tom is telling me can eradicate illnesses and control consciousness. So I am as fascinated as you are hearing that sentence. Tom, I'm going to turn it over to you, ask you to say a little bit more about yourself by way of introduction, and then let's get into this topic of Scalar Light.
Okay. And I thank you for the invitation. Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Paladino. I work with energy instruments. They're known as scalar energy, scalar light instruments. Now, this is not electricity, so we're not going to speak about the electromagnetic spectrum. We're going to speak about the quantum spectrum, which is entirely different.
So the quantum energy.
Yes, the quantum
I'm going to interrupt you. Every time I don't understand something, I'm going to interrupt. All right? Because I know you know this like the back of your hand. And I'm really going to act with you like I am, the listener that knows nothing about this.
Okay. So to underscore this, there's two energies. There's electromagnetic energy that we're familiar with, and then there's quantum energy or scalar energy. Sadly, this other spectrum of energy, scalar energy, is not attended to. It's ignored. Well, other great scientists such as Nikola Tesla discovered scalar energy, and he worked with it. And Tesla saw the merit. He developed scalar energy instruments, which are free energy instruments that extract sunlight or starlight to power these instruments. Now, why is that important? We're accessing the consciousness, the sunlight, the starlight of the universe. We're not accessing AC current. And when we can access sunlight or starlight, we can do incredible things with this energy.
Well, hold on. So you're using sunlight and consciousness, I think, interchangeably in that sentence. Yes. So tell me about that. I don't understand that.
Okay, so if we look at the universe, take a look at the macro view of the universe. Where does all the energy, the light, come from? And light is intelligence now. It's from the sun and the stars. Where is the point of origin for all light, for all energy? The sun, the stars. And hence that light, that energy, serves as the consciousness or the intelligence or the instructions of the universe. And this is what I've tapped into. That special type of energy from the sun and the stars, scalar energy, that allows me to, in many ways, have a mandate, have a control, a dominion over nature.
Okay, so have control over nature in what way?
The instruments that I've devised and the technique that I've perfected allows me to say, look at a microbe, a virus, or a bacterium, and to understand its molecular integrity, its molecular geometry, and then break down or negate that molecular intelligence, break down that molecular geometry. So what am I saying? With a scalar energy instrument, we can look at a microbe, a germ, and break down its molecular structure. We do that with intelligence. Do not do that with a chemical. So this is a straightforward, safe process in which we can project energy, scalar energy, into a germ, a pathogen, a microbe, and break it down, eradicate it.
Okay, so when you're using the term instruments, tell me what you mean. So actual mechanical machines and instruments.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to hold up one of the instruments. This is a scalar energy instrument. This is a custom-built instrument that I have in my laboratory. Now, this instrument will find its way into the geometry of scalar energy. This is a scalar energy, a scalar light instrument. It's not an AC electrical instrument.
Okay.
And with this type of instrument, I have then control over that dimension of energy, scalar energy. And in so doing, that instrument allows me to break down the molecular structure of a microbe, a virus, a fungus, a bacterium.
Okay. And just for our listeners who are not watching this on video, but listening to it just on a streaming podcast, the instrument is about, you said, about 6 feet long.
That's correct.
And it looks like a big machine to me. So when he was holding up the picture, it looks like a big industrial type machine.
Yeah, it is. They're industrial grade, if you will. They are rather intricate in their design. And what I really want to inculcate is this, that these instruments, although they're custom built nonetheless, these instruments allow me to work in this quantum realm. They give me entry into the quantum realm, or the realm of consciousness. Again, there's two realms. There's an electromagnetic realm and there's a consciousness realm, or a scalar energy realm. So what I'm, if you will, a pioneer of this new physics. There is another dimension, a scalar energy dimension. Some people call that consciousness or Christ consciousness. Some people call that the spirit dimension. That's the dimension I work in.
So the unseen, the non-physical.
Yeah, the non-physical.
And if it's non-physical, how do your instruments and machines interact with it?
Okay, so again, keep in mind this is not electricity. So when I'm working with these instruments, I work with people or animals by way of a photograph of a person or an animal. Let me explain. This is my photograph that has light, a signature attached to it. When I place a person's photograph inside my instrument will understand their scalar signature, their scalar identification. And my instrument, working like a cell phone or a satellite, will send energy to that person, to their quantum field. Now, keep in mind, this is an informational process. It's not a biological process. So working through a photograph, I can find a person's quantum field, send energy to that quantum field, and instruct any type of microbe to break apart, to disassemble in the quantum field.
Okay, but the microbe is in the physical.
No, what I've discovered is that the microbe also exists in the scalar energy force field.
Oh,
That's the very quiddity. That's the very quiddity of my work. I only work in the scalar energy force field. Now, if I was working in the electromagnetic force field, it would be a biochemical, some type of chemical reaction. I avoid a chemical reaction. By the way, I never have a die-off or any type of toxic shock, because I'm not working with the biochemistry of the body. I'm working with the information of the body. So this process is entirely safe because I never work with any chemical reaction. So people exist in two forms: the Newtonian physics, the electromagnetic spectrum, so to speak, and the quantum physics, the scalar energy body. There are two dimensions. I prefer to work in the scalar energy dimension. It's so simple, it's so easy, and it's above, if you will, electromagnetic energy. The spirit world is above the physical world.
mm-hmm. Yeah, more fundamental to it. So what you're saying is your work and your instruments and machines, devices, work at the non-physical, you're calling informational level, what we could also perhaps call at the spiritual level.
Yes, it is. The spiritual level. It is all non-physical. And
Yes.
this is why I can tap into a person's force field, their non-physical force field, through their photograph. Now, I realize in Western medicine, you have to visit a clinic, a medical clinic. I'm not a medical professional. This is not medicine. This is quantum healing through the informational field. Everything is non-physical, correct?
And what does the photograph provide in the non-physical, in the informational realm?
The photograph is the witness. So the photograph is the bilocated version of a person. For instance, my scalar energy instruments are working right now. I am physically in my office, but my bilocated version is in my laboratory at a distance, being treated. So people can be in two places at once. And this has been hypothesized in the quantum realm, in which you're holographic. You're not bound by space and time. If you're in the quantum field, the holographic field, you can transcend time and space.
I think that all the time when I have to move my body from point A to point B, and it feels so very laborious.
Yeah. It's very real. Now, this has been proven, and at least theorized, many times scientists have seen that two particles that at one time were joined together, if they're now separated at a distance, will communicate with one another, even though they're at a distance, instantaneously. So there was some type of matching, some type of intelligence that paired those two physical entities. Now that they're separated by a distance, they still communicate instantaneously with one another. How's that possible? It's only possible in the quantum field. It's instantaneous communication.
That's fantastic. Say a little bit more about the quantum field for our listeners that are maybe new to this concept.
Yeah, the concept has been forwarded by many people, scientists and lay people. And it really boils down to, it's the prayer, if you will, phenomenon. It's the thought phenomenon. If you can pray, if you can think, if creativity comes to you, all of that is non-physical, but still it's intelligence. And at the speed of thought, well, the speed of thought is instantaneous. So if a thought is some type of quantum or some type of information, and a thought can transcend time and space, then there has to be some type of continuum that's outside of time and space that can project a thought, that can project a prayer. That's quantum. That's scalar energy.
Oh, okay. Love it. How did you get into this? Like, what was your background in science or studying Nikola Tesla? What got you into this?
Yeah. As a youngster, I was reading about Nikola Tesla. This is a good 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And I knew I was, later in his life, Tesla developed two towers, one in Colorado Springs and one in Long Island, New York. And I looked at those towers, and not one of those towers had a telephone wire, a substation, a power plant. Not one of those wires had any types of power generation within its vicinity. So I concluded, it's kind of obvious, Tesla was tapping into free energy, the energy of the cosmos. Those were scalar energy towers. When I broadcast my energy from my instrument, I don't need a satellite. The grid system is consciousness. The grid system is scalar energy. I don't have towers. I don't have electrical conduit. I don't have a substation, transformers. There's no pulleys. There's no microprocessors involved. I just broadcast this energy anywhere in the universe because scalar energy, scalar light transcends time and space.
So you studied Nikola Tesla. You saw that. So how did you get from there to inventing this?
It was a 45, 50-year trek. So
yeah, right.
My life.
Me up with those 40 or 50 years. What happened in between?
Well, to highlight, in my 30s, I met a Hieronymus family. They were inventors, scalar energy inventors. And actually, I traveled to their home in Georgia, and they demonstrated to me their work. They had scalar energy instruments, and I was able to buy their scalar energy instruments. And later in life, I started to inherit their notes after they passed. I inherited their notes, and I built therefrom, from this inventor, Galen Hieronymus, and his wife, Sarah. I built this if you will, existing laboratory that I have. So it was very important that I met that American inventor, Galen Hieronymus, his wife. I never met him, and I could build therefrom.
Wow. Okay. So like no PhD in quantum science, or it's all self-taught, self-study.
Yes. That's the point we're at with this science now. Yeah. It's all self-taught. Yeah. All of my work is groundbreaking. And I have to mention this, it's painstaking because everything I've discovered has taken months, years. There is no textbook on scalar light, scalar energy. I've read a few textbooks. They're way off the mark. They don't hit the nail on the head. It's wrong.
How so? And how do you know?
Legally, frequently they try and describe scalar energy in electrical terms. It's not electricity.
Oh, okay.
But people have to get that there's two energies. Electricity and scalar are two separate, it's like an apple and an orange.
Right.
They're different.
And who are some of the other thinkers that dealt with, other than Tesla, which I'm very familiar with?
I'll mention a few. Tesla, as I mentioned, Galen Hieronymus. I studied under this family. Another inventor by name of Moray out of Salt Lake City. He had free energy devices. Kozyrev, a Russian astrophysicist, he had scalar telescopes. And just a few other people. Antoine Priory, who developed an instrument scalar energy instrument that could cure cancer. He had great success with that. But all of these inventors are deceased. And it's a shame because...
And did their work then cease when they deceased?
It did. It ceased, yes. It ceased. And I'm trying to resurrect the work of Tesla in theory, and then the other inventor, Hieronymus, in practice, because I do have Hieronymus instruments. But you see, to be quite frank about it, if this is true and accurate, and if these are free energy instruments, it's not broadly accepted by society to bring free energy to the marketplace.
Right.
I have free energy from the sun and the stars. There's going to be a pushback here.
What do you mean you have free energy from the sun and the stars?
This instrument works upon the free energy of the sun and the stars. I do not create this energy.
Okay.
I just tap into it. I don't have a power plant. So if this is a free energy instrument and I can freely send out energy anywhere in the world through a person's photograph, and I don't need a grid system, not only is the energy free, but the distribution is free through the grid system of the universe. Now, what does that mean? Well, if I can provide energy to a person through their photograph, eventually I should be able to provide energy to a building. And that is free energy, and therein will lie the pushback in which this will revolutionize energy generation.
Fantastic. So as you talk about the sun and the stars, you talked about the starlight, and you're talking about Nikola Tesla, it brings to mind for me Elon Musk, who his internet program is called Starlink, I think. He has an internet program that's beams internet connection, I don't know, from space. He has the motor company, Tesla Motors, that he named after Nikola Tesla. What are your thoughts about what he's standing for and thinking and teaching?
I give Elon Musk credit for mentioning Tesla and promoting this great genius, Nikola Tesla. Tesla not only gave the world AC electricity, he's known as the father of AC electricity. Later in his life, Tesla was trying to work with free energy. Now, I don't know if Musk is going down that road, but this is indeed factual. Tesla had towers, one in Colorado Springs and one in Long Island, that would broadcast energy. Tesla could illuminate light bulbs at a distance without any electrical source. Tesla developed free energy instruments. Is Musk going that way? I don't know.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So before we got on to do this recording, you were telling me about the thousands and thousands of testimonials you have. You showed me the picture of the Indian people that were their HIV. So let's talk a little bit about the practical application of what you're doing with Scalar Light.
Okay, let me make this very clear and how simple this is. And I'm working with light. This is a photograph. It's a source of light, a photograph of the herpes virus. My instrument, if I place this photograph inside a scalar energy instrument, the instrument will look at the signature, the light signature of herpes. And then if I were to place my photograph side by side that photograph of herpes, there's communication. There's quantum communication between this force field and my force field. So I can download the information of the herpes virus into my force field through the photograph. Again, it's not a biological process, it's informational. And by placing these two photographs in a scalar energy force field, this photograph of herpes will be sent into my body and will find and destroy the herpes virus in my quantum body.
could it also create it? I mean, so that's what's confusing to me. You're showing the picture of a virus and a picture of yourself. So how does it know to destroy it rather than create it?
So the instrument that I have is reverse phase. It will break down the DNA of a virus or the RNA of a virus. So when I place this photograph of herpes in the instrument, it will break down the genetic code of the herpes virus. I do not know how to create DNA. If I did, that would be another hallmark, but I'm not at that point yet.
Okay. All right. So tell me, so that's more the mechanism that you should, a photo of the virus, a photo of the person, it through the information systems finds that virus in your system and eradicates it.
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right.
It's straightforward. And what do I like about it? Jackie, everything I do is predicated upon light. There's no human interpretation. I use a photograph of a microbe. This photograph of herpes is a source of light. And then I download it into people or animals by their photograph, which is likewise a source of light. So I'm working along the laws of science. Okay? The laws of science are immutable. And hence, as long as I do that, I have a guaranteed outcome.
As long as you do what? As long as
I follow these rubrics, these guidelines of science, I can guarantee that I can ascertain the energy, the signature of the herpes virus, and destroy it in a person's quantum field. I have the guaranteed technique to download the energy of the herpes virus into the quantum field of a person or many people and eradicate the herpes virus through that process.
Okay. And
light never makes a mistake.
Now, why is that? Light never makes a mistake.
It's fundamental. It follows the laws of nature. Okay. There's no human ingenuity here.
Yeah. And so the same is true of any other virus, like HIV,
yes,
for example.
Yes. Okay. For instance, I'm going to hold up another placard. This is a group, Om Prakash. This is an HIV/AIDS clinic in Delhi, India. Om Prakash. I've worked with over 5,000 people at Om Prakash by way of their photograph. After working with these people, many of them are HIV positive. After working with over 5,000 people, nobody at Om Prakash, if they have a follow-up PCR test, nobody's reporting any viral load.
PCR test, that's coronavirus.
Now, polymerase chain reaction test is the common test used in molecular biology.
Oh, okay.
That looks for some type of viral.
For HIV viral load.
Yeah.
And they have no viral load.
They have no viral load whatsoever.
And how long did that take?
It only takes 1 day to break down the molecular structure of the virus. One treatment.
So you cured 5,000 people of the HIV virus in a day. Let's just say, I'm sure it didn't happen.
Well, over a period of 5 years, I've been working with this group.
Okay, so 5,000 people.
Every week or every other week, I receive 100 or 200 photographs. So after 5 years, this is our track record. After 5 years, we've worked with over 5,000 people at this clinic.
Wow.
And everybody feels better. We had those test results on our website here. Here's one test result from the founder of Om Prakash. After being positive for 13 years, he had a follow-up PCR test after the scalar energy session, after this gentleman sent us his photograph, and his viral load is negative, no viral load. And he's never had a viral load since he sent a photograph to us.
So it eradicates and it doesn't come back.
Correct. Once you break apart a virus, it ceases to exist.
Okay. So anyone with HIV could contact you, send their photograph, and in very short order test negative for the viral load of HIV.
Yeah, usually I suggest people wait 3 or 4 months, let all the particles, let all the fragments of the virus leave your body. Usually after we work with people, after 2 or 3 months, especially something with HIV, people, their appetite improves because they're no longer ravished by this virus. They gain weight, they feel better, they have greater energy. So usually within 2 or 3 months, we see a significant change in their disposition.
And do they go off their medications, their HIV medication?
that's up to them. See, that's a good point. That's a medical advice that I can't give. I can give quantum advice, but I'm not a medical professional.
Okay. And in your experience of these 5,000 people over 5 years, do they stop taking their medications? Like some do, some don't? Or, I mean,
I would say most of them stop taking medication.
most of them stop taking their medications. Because the side effects of the HIV cocktail, can also be difficult.
Are difficult. Yeah.
Well, I have one of my best friends and his partner are HIV positive, so I may be sending him to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about results. I want to make this very clear to your audience. We have a website in which we have over 4,000 testimonies that we've amassed over the past 20, 25 years. And right now, that's the body of evidence, the testimonies. To make this very clear, nobody's ever duplicated my work. I don't know of anybody who has built these scalar energy instruments, at least not to the capacity that I have, or is able to control the energy as I have devised. So my protocol is unique, my work is unique, my results are unique.
And how long did it take you to build the instrument that you showed us the picture of?
I work with a brilliant engineer. We've been at this now for a good 15, 20 years. It's been laborious. It's tough. The prototypes are always tough.
But it's done, right? I mean, you're using it.
It's done. Yes, we are. Now we're ready to present our work to the universe, to the world.
Sure. The people in India, how did they find you, Tom?
We have agents around the world who go out and seek non-government agencies or churches or missionaries, and we tell people what we're doing. And so that's a very good question. So we have 2 or 3 agents in India, and we presented our work to them. Well, the founder of Om Prakash, his name is Sahil, he said, let me test it out. We treated him favorably. He's never had a viral load since he was treated with scalar energy by way of his photograph. So he started to tell his entire community. We have worked with over 5,000 people at Om Prakash, an HIV clinic in Delhi, India, and our results are really quite fabulous.
Could you do the same thing with malaria?
Oh, yeah, easily. Malaria, the bacterium that causes tuberculosis, hepatitis virus, herpes virus. If you visit our website, you'll see thousands of testimonies. Many of those are accompanied by a PCR test, polymerase chain reaction test. And then people have to judge this according to their discernment. This has never been done before. Okay, so there is I have no peer-reviewed study. I have no peers. Nobody's duplicated my work.
And have you asked, like, I don't know, or UCLA or Harvard or MIT?
I've put it out there to any institution to work with me. Nobody has stepped forward. Nobody.
And what's your thought about that?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe they don't understand, but I really don't have time to go out and solicit other institutions to work with me. I'm so immersed in my work. I don't have time. So right now, the people, it's grassroots, the people will prove this of their accord. And if they feel better, so that the body of evidence now is with people. It's a grassroots.
Wow. And what about aging? Like just changes in the body that are non-viral or non-microbial?
So one of our programs is, I'm going to hold this up again. This is a photograph of a vitamin.
Okay.
I take photographs of nutrients and I download that into quantum fields. So this is our nutrient program, in which we can take photographs of 300 or 400 photographs of micronutrients and send them into the quantum field. And that in and of itself, that proper nutrition seems to really benefit people. Wow. Everything I do is by way of a photograph, because photographs are sources of light and light never makes a mistake.
I don't know what that means. Can you explain that in layman's terms?
Well, it's very, and I mean it in a layman's term. Light never makes a mistake. Light is fundamental. Energy is fundamental. Energy always does what you tell it to do. Energy follows the laws of science. So as long as my scalar light instrument is working appropriately, it will follow my instructions.
Okay. And so you tell it what to do.
Yes. And it does it every time. It's a guaranteed outcome. It's a guaranteed process. It's a guaranteed outcome. When I tell my instrument to look for herpes, seek it out, and disassemble the genetic structure of herpes, it does that.
And how do you tell it that? Do you type it into a portal or program it?
No, always through the photograph.
Through the photograph. Okay.
If I had to interpret this process, then that would be human reasoning. I keep it at a fundamental level. The light of a photograph, the DNA pictured in this photograph, instructs the instrument to seek out that DNA in the quantum field and destroy it.
Wow. So if you put like healthy cells, a photo of healthy cells, would it go destroy that as well?
No, I've not perfected the technique where I can create DNA. Do I think it's possible? Yes. But I've not been able to do that.
Huh. I was just thinking of nefarious purposes that, you could like go off, be offing people just with their photographs.
So that leads me to further that discussion. This is why I don't share all of my notes with the general public. These are very powerful instruments. And this really mandates you have to have a moral compass to get into this type of science. You have to be very God-driven. You have to be very purposeful. And it's no toy. It's a great responsibility.
Right. No, I can see that. My mind is going down tunnels of places that it could be used in ways that aren't for good. So what's your inspiration for this, Tom? Why do you feel that this is your calling and you're working so diligently in this?
I have been working diligently. Why? Because God asked me. This is God's calling for me.
Yeah.
God has given me the wisdom, the insight, the ability to bring it this far. I could not have done this without God. So it is a calling. It's a calling from God. And I see the gigantic potential. These instruments can work with 5-10 million people a day. Jackie, we can change society with this. We miniaturize the photographs. Keep in mind, we can easily miniaturize a photograph. Today in my laboratory, I'm working with about approximately 500,000 people today by way of their photograph.
Wow. And are you the only one that puts the photographs into the machine?
Yeah.
And why don't
I control everything.
why don't you train other people to do that?
Nobody stepped forward, Jack. You see, this is a new science, a new industry. There's no money here.
Yeah. Well, but
I can't pay anybody. I can't.
You're being paid to do this for people, so there's income of the business.
Yeah, there is, but nobody wants to make a career out of this. Who wants to do this? Who wants to study for 20 years? It'll take me 20, 30 years to understand this.
Right, but you've done that. You've laid that groundwork.
Yes. And to answer your question, nobody's come forward. Nobody.
Interesting. Well, do you have any invitation for people that you'd want to make?
Sure.
My list.
If people are interested, contact me. Visit the website, scalarlight.com. Send us an email.
Yeah.
I have to get this out there. That's the purpose of sharing this knowledge with your audience publicly. I'm not hiding.
Yeah, and you said
I want to get that
on
out there.
800 podcasts. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I've performed 800 podcasts over the past 12 years.
Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive. Yeah, start making that ask to build a team of people who want to do this and want to get this out there. I do believe it's possible, Tom. I do believe it's possible to be able to get it out there. This is what the world needs.
Yeah, it does. It's the guaranteed approach to either create a vitamin or a mineral or break down a microbe.
What about...
And those other processes, we're able to balance the chakras with this energy. It's so strong, it seems to have a psychological import for many people, a beneficial psychological approach to psychological problems, mental health.
Fascinating. So it can even impact people's psychological and emotional well-being.
Yes.
But that's not a microbe.
You're right. So now keep in mind, we're working with consciousness. So
right.
It's either the consciousness of a microbe the information system of a microbe or the consciousness of the mind or the psyche or the chakras.
Yeah.
Many people have said that that scalar energy sessions have allowed them to overcome addiction to alcohol or cigarettes or pornography.
Yeah.
So it seems to correct the conscious of
Wow.
a person.
That's powerful. What about the application in sports? How might it impact performance in athletics?
I think it would enhance athletic performance. I've had mothers say that their children now perform better in school, that they're more focused.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And what about politics?
I would hope we would have a straightforward and virtuous statesmen and stateswomen moving forward.
But I can't just send you a picture of
No.
politicians and say, here, please do something with politicians.
Of their own volition. I allow people, they can go to the website, they're free sessions for 15 days, but I can't force people.
Okay. All right. And why not? Like, what's your thought about that?
Well, I want people to agree to this. Unless I would see a dire situation, somebody at doorstep, I want people to educate themselves. That's why I have 15 days of free sessions. Let people make the decision.
And the 15 days of free sessions is you putting their photograph into the scalar
Yes.
instrument.
Yes.
They
Yes.
feel some relief from their condition.
Yes. Yeah. For 15 days, we'll eradicate microbes, assemble nutrients, and balance the chakras. Those 3 protocols.
Okay.
And after 15 days, most people are convinced that this has been a benefit.
Oh, wow. And then they continue on with the program? Is that the goal? Because they've had the experience of it?
It's up to them. It's up to them. My goal is just to educate people. That's what the 15-day program does. It's an inexpensive way through grassroots. I'm all grassroots because I don't have money to advertise. So I let the grassroots movement carry the message.
Wow, that's fantastic. So, Tom, thank you so much for your very clear explanation of this. It's very helpful. So I want to just say again where people can find you and try Scalar Energy for 15 days for free.
Yeah, the website is scalarlight.com, SCALAR, scalarlight.com. Visit the website. Anybody in the world, anybody, can send your photograph, and with your family's permission, send their photograph likewise. You can include your pets. And after 15 days, the greater majority of people feel better. So try it. There's no obligation. Try it.
It's fantastic. So again, it's SCALAR, scalarlight.com. Get in touch with Tom and his incredible work. Tom, thank you so much for being here with us on the Conscious Living Podcast. You've certainly given me, and I'm sure our listeners, a lot to think about. And I hope lots of people get in touch with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, kindly.